Thank you, Maria. And greetings of love, greetings of peace to everyone from white, snowy Montreal. The setting here is definitely reminding us of the angelic, the subtle regions, because we've been receiving lots and lots of snow over the last 48 hours, which is a bit new. Because usually Christmas time is white time for us, but not this year because of climate change. But all of a sudden, snow came, and it feels very nice. Actually, all the noises are very, very reduced to the snow all around. So thank you for having me in your company today. And please, I will request from the translator, if I have this habit coming again to speak too fast, do not hesitate to let me know in the chat. So it's a very special Avyakt month, definitely a very special month in the year. The month of January is the most powerful month, definitely in the year. And I don't know about you, but since the beginning, since January started, I really had this experience the first January 1st at Amrit Vela that, wow, this month will be extremely powerful. We've been really gifted with this beautiful worldly program called Experiments in Silence. And so it's been sustaining us, especially that Merli, January 18th, 2022. And really, I feel that the subtle region and the original jewels are really pulling us. And it's like both directions, actually. They are pulling us up. And at the same time, there is the feeling internally that with the sincerity of our efforts, we also have to bring down the subtle regions so that the world can be transformed. And so today I would like to share a few practices that I've been reflecting on and sticking to since, I would say, it's been some times, and other practices maybe since the end of the year. I came back from a tour in service pretty much 1 month ago from the Caribbean. And since I came back from Montreal, I took some time really to reflect on the year 2023 and appreciate my growth, appreciate the attainments that Baba has given me, and also trying to plan, for 2024 and set proper intentions. And out of the intentions, definitely the virtue of lightness has been very attractive to me. I feel like I want, amongst others maybe, but I really want to put some focus on that. And so that's why I wanted to chat with you about the angelic stage. I would actually say more precisely the double light stage. There might be a slight difference. I see the angelic stage more like the final accomplished stage of accomplishment, I would say. But the double light stage, I feel it closer to our reality now, because I feel that this is something that we can really focus on, practice, so that we can get closer to the angelic stage. So I will more use in my vocabulary today this expression of double light. And recently we had a class from Mohini Didi at Avyakti Parivar. And sometimes we need new expressions to just create a sense of renewal in our efforts. And she was talking, of course, about the double light stage as part of the January month. But one expression that she used that actually triggered some enthusiasm in me was this expression of being single light instead of double light. And so what I noticed is that she was actually inviting us to check if we are first single light before even thinking about being double light. And I've been using that expression because it hit me nicely. I realized that, wow, I want to deepen actually the basis of my effort. We find over time, we find different ways, I guess, to go back to the roots, go back to the basics. And for me, I really wanted to simply revisit the foundation of soul consciousness. Oh, okay, so it's not a message for me. Hopefully, I'm not speaking too fast. Is this okay, Patricia? I can see your face. Is this okay? Yeah?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Don't worry. Everything is
Great.
okay. I will let you know if there is
All
something.
right.
Don't
Thank
worry.
you. And so, yeah, single light means for me at this point in my life that do I really make effort to increase that practice of soul consciousness, turning the light on, basically turning the bulb on. And since I came back from the Caribbean, I received a beautiful gift in the form of slowness in my life, but also in my being. Probably sometimes it's good, to disconnect from our daily life. And when we travel, this is usually the best time for that. And also being exposed to a different rhythm of life. But I found that the life in the islands or the life in that part of the world somehow was a bit slower in the rhythm that I'm used to in Montreal with daily business activities, job and center and service programs and all that. Not that it wasn't busy in the Caribbean, but it was just different. And I found myself the first weeks when I came back extremely slow. And noticing that in my energy, I actually noticed the benefits of that I was simply more aware of myself. And I decided to stick to it as a gift, to stick to it as a virtue, because I saw myself at some point spinning up again in my, daily, day-to-day activities. And fortunately, in the drama is always beneficial. I happened to slip one day and hurt. The body got hurt, a little bit injured. And it was kind of painful. And I decided that I would continue all my activities. I would continue my job, even though it's a physical work. I work in two clinics in Montreal as a massage therapist. I need definitely my body as a working tool. But I decided that I would keep that slowness first to enable the body to heal properly from this injury. And also, I would use it as a gift to increase my awareness of myself. And so far, I'm still sticking to it. I'm very decided to watch myself more when I am speaking, doing actions, making sure that I'm more in this observing mode, observing the actions that are being done. And, Baba has been using in different Murlis those expressions of Karan, Karavanhara, Karavanhara, Karanhara. And it took me a while, to figure out what exactly he meant by that. And in the same way that Karan Karavanhar, the one who inspires, does through his instruments, getting things done, I realized that he also gave us that yukti to have this same relationship that he has with the soul, with us. So we can also have the same relationship from the soul stage to through the body. And so these days, I'm just trying to focus of me, I, the soul, getting things done through my body. And whenever I am in that mode, in that stage, what I usually observe is my hands. I'm really very, very surprised, how many things we are doing by using our hands. And of course, the feet and the legs and the whole body, but definitely those two beautiful gifts in our puppet are so precious. We're doing so many things. And for me, it's a way to feel, not to feel engrossed, not to feel that I'm sticking too much to actions. Otherwise, this is when I feel tempted, to speed up. And so slowness, I find, make me these days more attentive on who is the one who is acting. And also, I feel I respect myself more in my peace, in the love I want to express in my action, in the virtues, that the soul has the chance to express at conference age. In Baba's company, ideally. So that's one aspect that helps me these days to at least feel single light. So watching myself operating through the body by keeping that attention of getting things done, but slowly. My grandmother had Indian origins, not Indian, sorry. I wish she had, but no, Italian. And she would say an expression, chi va piano va sano. I don't know if there's any Italian here, any Italian Brahmin, but that expression meant that the one who is going slowly is moving forward surely. And so I find that very helpful. And at the same time, for me, single light, increasing this practice of feeling not only the light here, but really that lightness in my being means that, of course, we know that eventually when we are soul conscious, we're able to detach more, right, from the body. And working, through my body, because as a massage therapist, I use my hands, my physical force a lot. And treating also bodies made me over the past few years really reflect about my own relationship with my body and the bodies of others. And one practice that I really enjoy, and I don't know how many years I've been doing that, but I find it very helpful because I did not quite get that at the beginning of my Brahmin life. Becoming soul conscious for me was in my body, I would say, energetically speaking, was all concentrated here, in my head. And sometimes I would have even some headache here, And so the practice I've been enjoying so that I can truly feel detached from my body is actually investing the energy of I, the soul, inside the body. And I find that it's actually a prerequisite. Eventually, we will be able to detach at will, right, from our bodies and, fly in the angelic stage, the last second, right? This will be the test of the last second. But for that, I find that we need to truly master the body, truly master the energy of the soul, that the soul really feels completely the master of the body, in the sense that the energy of the soul is a bright, shining energy, so always radiating, emitting vibrations. And at Amrit Vela, I always take time to, I usually start always meeting Baba and Amrit Vela in the incorporeal world. I just picture myself as a tiny, tiny dot of pure light, very, very pure, peaceful. I'm just meeting Baba in the form of, light, silence. I don't have much to tell him at the beginning. I don't know why. I'm attracted. I'm always pulled by silence at the beginning. But then afterwards, I imagine myself going, investing the body, in the sense that I, the soul, am radiating and spreading rays. I find it's very important not to deny our bodies, not to be cut off from our bodies. I was more living here before, so many, many years ago. But at some point I had the fortune to meet Daddy Gulzar many years ago. I can't remember exactly when. I think it was 15 years ago or so. And I wanted to find ways to overcome some challenges with the body at that time. And she suggested me to really take the time at Amrit Vela to spread rays in the body, so that even visualizing my body lying down in front of me. I don't do it much these days, like really having my body separate in front of me. But definitely spreading rays. I usually first start with my hands, and then with the feet, and then the head. And I imagine all my organs and my cells and the muscles everywhere, receiving that very, very precious energy of light when we are aligned with ourselves. And also when the self-respect is, I would say, correct. Baba sees us in a form of purity. He knows we have some sanskar to be transformed, but his vision is extremely high. And so for me, Amrit Vela is to just remind myself that I am a pure and peaceful, powerful soul in my eternal stage. And when I meet Baba in the subtle region, then I want to present myself as such. And so I need to not disconnect from the body, but to detach myself from the body by respecting the body, investing the body with light, with that energy. And that creates a beautiful sense of lightness, easiness inside. And I find that afterwards, whenever there are traffic controls during the day, or whenever I walk, or whenever I'm standing, I find this practice of detaching ourselves like quickly easier when the time is taken at Amrit Vela to detach ourselves and feel. Usually it's nice to feel the body filled with light, but also can you imagine we all have a beautiful, beautiful aura of light. And I feel this is really the best time, January month, to even increase those practices of feeling the aura of light while walking, moving around. and really feeling the purity, so much purity inside everyone. And so now I just share with you two practices. I mean, two main things that are enabling me to revisit, I would say, the practice of soul consciousness, so single light. That's the expression I keep as a mantra usually during the day. And now when the light is on, then this virtue of lightness has been a focus lately. And it's winter here in Montreal these days, and everyone usually is taking lots of vitamins and supplements and making sure the body's strong, facing the cold weather. And we know we live at confluence age, but still in this Iron Age environment. And so to maintain that level of lightness, the double light stage, I need power for that. I need extra vitamins, divine vitamins. And by the way, I just want to review one of the definition that Baba is giving us about the double light stage, which I try to keep these days as much as I can in my own day-to-day life. Because when there is no lightness, there is heaviness, right? So it's easy to check where am I at? And so double light, according to Baba, means that the intellect, so the energy of our attention, right? Intellect is really where do I choose to focus my attention in my life. So that precious tool, double light, means that this precious tool, the intellect doesn't get entangled in worldly matters. And so Baba uses this expression that the feet of the intellect doesn't touch the ground anymore. And again, in the same way that I have shared with you how much it's been important in my Brahmin life not to disconnect too abruptly from the body, but really respecting the body as a gift from nature, as a gift from God. Even Mohini Didi was inviting us the other days to love our bodies. It's part of the practicing that stage of lightness, loving by, giving energy, the energy of light to the body. So in the same way, I need to pay attention that my intellect doesn't get too much heavy in worldly matters. And so one vitamin that I asked Baba, I think it was by the end of the year, I wanted to increase, different practices in my life and had few objectives, and just asked Baba, what would be the main effort? What would be the main effort to really make my intellect more double light? And the answer that I received was love. And so love is a very, very vast subject. But as we know, Baba has different ways to give us some answers, but also tools. And in one Avyak Murli's a few weeks ago, Baba talked about that stage of not only feeling loved by him, but extremely loved. And, sometimes we have those expressions that again hit us. Single light was one, extremely loved was another one. And so I asked myself, honestly, do I feel extremely loved by Baba every day? And so the answer was no, I feel love. Definitely, I feel Baba's love, but not necessarily extremely loved. And so I decided that I would put my focus on that. And, in the world, studies have been made on orphans. And orphans, usually when they grow in life, their growth is completely different whenever child are being brought up in a family, especially when the parents are loving and caring. There's a vast, huge difference. Orphans would have some, would be like, say, can find the word in English, but there would be some drawbacks in their growth. It could be mentally, it can be physically, like when a child is not touched and receive affection at the beginning of its life, then all of that can happen. And so, same for us. Baba depicts us as orphans. This used to be our stage as Shudras. And even though we are Brahmins, we're no more Shudras, we're no more orphans. We have recognized Baba. We have this fortune, of having that beautiful sense of belonging to the mother and father. But yet, do we sustain that sense of belonging by feeling, checking, the level, the quality of the love, the affection that we receive from Baba every day? And so I, remember a beautiful Avyak Murli that we had. I think it was November 2nd. And Baba was the ocean of love at the beginning of the Murli, meeting his children. And I love this Murli. It was Murli about respect. But Baba didn't talk about respect first. He started with love because he knew that it's the one of the main virtue that we need to feel, so that we get really satisfied, that the hearts of his children get satisfied. And one aspect that I really enjoy that Murli is that love brings so many benefits when it is properly received from Baba. Love detaches us from our bodies, but also love detaches us from everything else, relationships. Even love makes Maya run away. So that's very good. If you want to kick Maya, just, go back and immerse yourself in Baba's love. So just to share with you how much love, there are so many beautiful benefits in this one experience. And when the heart is satisfied, I guess the intellect is less pulled, in the world. And I feel that I use my sense of being double light. So double light meaning remaining above, remaining very light in my attitude, remaining detached, being able to see, humor in every situation instead of complaining. So all of that, right, would depict this angelic or double light stage. And so whenever I feel any kind of heaviness, I just try to go back to that experience of, taking a shower. I like to take a shower of light at Amrit Vela, but a shower of love, of light and love is actually good. So that's, I would say, the foundation. And also, love, not just from God, but I feel like for me, what is important right now in my practice of being double light is to make sure that I love myself. I don't like so much this expression because the soul is love, right? So we don't need to love ourselves really, but Baba talks more about self-respect. I need to respect myself as a being of love. It might seem very common what I'm telling you, but I really enjoy to see how love can be declined in many different virtues afterwards. Just to think about that virtue of goodness, for example. There is so much goodness in each and every heart of us, right? And when I think about this virtue or even benevolence or tenderness, it's all for me like byproducts of love. Then I can feel that love more in a practical way in my relationships, in my actions, and I feel I respect myself more as such as Baba sees me. So that itself makes me double light. Um, very, on a practical level. When there is love, when I feel that love for myself or goodness in my heart, in my everyday life, and I do everything as much, with love, with care, with gentleness, caring for me is really a beautiful byproduct of love. It helps me so much to disconnect from my roles and responsibilities. And again, Baba doesn't ask us, to just run away and be like a sannyasi in his cave. As Raja Yogi, we have the beauty of living a totally integrated life in the world, like the lotus, firmly rooted, but at the same time, staying above as much as we can. And for me, as much as I can during the day, I try to remember the different parts, roles, I'm involved in. I would say roles, like whether it be at the center or even the part of, being a Brahmin or being a service companion, being a center coordinator, being a colleague for my colleagues at work, being a therapist, being the child of my mother, lucky mother. So we have so many different roles and responsibilities that are connected with them. And so double light for me means if I really want to respect myself and not to lose myself in actions or in all those responsibilities, I just like to take pauses. I like just to take breaks and feel this vast, huge difference between those roles played by Anne Christelle and I, the soul, the actor. So definitely the performer, the one who is performing different roles, the characters, I would say, and the actor. And at the end of the day, the actor is very clear when the actor has ended up performing on stage. The characters are dead, yeah, and they don't exist anymore. It's the same for us, I guess. Um, Avyak month for me is to check that whenever I stop and I take, for example, a traffic control during the day, that I detach myself as much as I can, not only from what I'm doing, but also the role, the roles, if there are many, the roles I'm playing and the characters, and really reminding myself of my original pure identity of being a soul, very light, carefree. Might be, I really enjoy very much the eternal stage. I don't know why, maybe more than the angelic. Angelic is attractive too, but original means really silence. And that comfort, the sweet, sweet home is Baba. It's funny because the Merli of today, for some of you, I guess it's evening time. So the Merli of that morning is a bit far, but I really enjoyed this morning Merli when Baba told us it just take 1 second to just travel. And so we shouldn't say that we don't have time for that. It just take 1 second to shift. So vitamins love, feeling extremely loved from Baba. And to tell you the truth, at some point I realized that, okay, Baba, I want to feel extremely loved. How come I don't feel extremely loved? What are the hindrances, like, and not enabling me? And so I think one has to be very honest with ourselves. If we don't feel all the time that intensity of love, which actually makes our lives so easy, so light, then we need to ask ourselves, what are the subtle barriers, probably of the ego again, all good friend of the ego that prevent me to feel, that intensity of feeling extremely loved. There is that, but also challenging Baba, like Baba, this is my natural stage. I just want to feel it. So please, this is the time now. Just make me feel that. So also challenging Baba to just give us like extremely strong shots, strong showers of feeling extremely love. I guess for me, that's the number one key to feel the double light stage. And when there is that love, then I feel more equipped in my daily life to live that double light stage. And I guess it's interesting to ask ourselves in what areas in our life, do we need to feel a bit more double light? So involved, but at the same time, not influenced, not burdened. That we are able to keep our power, because Baba tells us when there is love, there is usually a very big amount of power in the soul. It's impossible not to be stable in our love and not to feel power. Both are working together. So whenever we feel shaken by a situation, it's usually really we lose our sense of self-respect. So we're not able to use our inner power, because probably there's a lack of feeling loved by Baba. And so I need to feel double light, definitely, in different areas in my life. These days, I'm checking, as I was sharing with you, actions, responsibilities. My yukti these days, especially after last Sunday, Avyak Murli, where Baba was reminding us that if we really want to use every resource of our beautiful, precious life in a worthwhile way, we need to get rid of the I and my, of the ego, of that sense of having to do things, or I have to do this, or I am the one who did that, and all of that. And so I've been reminding myself as much as I can these days that Baba is getting things done. Baba is getting things done. So opening, the door or the window of my intellect as much as I can to catch, Baba's signals. If really Baba is the one who is getting things done, then Baba has to touch the soul. And reminding myself also these days that whenever we want to experience success in our lives, we have such this beautiful gift of the intellect, which we call the divine intellect. And so divine intellect means that if I connect with Baba and if I am stable in my state of self-respect, Baba will touch the soul, or I will catch Baba's signals, to go in one direction or the other. So I'm having a question for you. I'm raising a question. Do we really use that beautiful gadget that we have been entrusted with at Confluence Age? We not only have an intellect, but we have a divine intellect. And so, of course, the more we remain engrossed in knowledge, but not in worldly matters, we know, right? That makes the intellect more refined, more able to catch Baba's signals. And so chit-chatting with Baba during the day, I find keep the intellect more light. Baba is more present. So it's been a practice for me, like using that gift of the intellect. So just reminding myself of really just one simple mantra: divine intellect, divine intellect. And I feel when I just remind myself of that, I feel like Baba is there, like Baba is there to stimulate my divinity, my ability to use whatever powers required or whatever virtues I need in some situations or whatever signals Baba has for me. So there is that. We have this gift on the intellect, but also um, double light means there's many paradox, right? Do you love paradox? Well, in Brahmin life, it's full of paradoxes. And yes, it's one thing that we have a divine intellect, but at the same time, Baba also asks us, especially in that beautiful Murli that we are revising these days of the 18th of 2022. Ultimately, we need to practice that, not to wait until we reach that stage of not using so much the intellect, in the sense that we don't need to, it's funny, we give the course, we tell the student to use their intellect so that they can master the mind. But eventually we come to a point that we don't need to use too much our intellect for worldly matters. We need to use our intellect for knowledge. We need to use our intellect for keeping the connection with Baba. But that's the thing, right? When we are not soul conscious, usually we use a lot of intellect to plan, to reflect on, should I do this? Should I not do that? How should I do this seva? And, all of that. And so I really like to enjoy this practice of trying not to think too much. For me, not using my intellect these days means not to think too much. There is a momentum for everything. I remember one day a brother was supposed to cook at the center. So some Brahmins asked him, say, so what are you going to cook? And so he was supposed to cook, I don't know, 2, 3 days. So very wisely, he responded, I don't know. And so the sister tell him, well, you should know. Say, no, it's just not the time. I don't need to think about it anymore. I don't need to think about it now. When the time will come and I go to the store and do the grocery, then I will use my intellect and think about it. And that example really inspired me. I say, what a wise attitude. And that's what I'm trying to use these days, to feel the momentum for everything. I find that my to-do list since I came back from the Caribbean is getting longer and longer and longer and longer. And I don't mind. I used to be a bit annoyed or stressed out sometimes by that. But now I realize that, ego wants everything getting done now, so that ego has the feeling that, yes, I'm the master. I'm controlling everything. But the angel inside, or the wise, enlightened Brahmin inside of us, knows that there is a time for everything. And when the times come to get things done, then drama will signal us, Baba will signal us. And so, with this virtue of functioning more slowly these days, not only physically, but more in my mind, trying to think slower, I'm just trying to ask myself, is this the right time? Is this the right momentum? And setting, having more perspective, setting up priorities, I find helps us tremendously not to think too much about getting things done, but really more making space so that Baba, can touch the soul and, enabling me to get things done. So actions, responsibilities, this is definitely an area where we need to practice all of that to feel more double light. The bodies, so many complain they don't have energy or the body is settling some karmic accounts and so on. And so I guess double light with the body means, again, going back to that practice, do I really take care of my body properly? Do I infuse my body every day with the energy of love, lightness, and the supreme healer? If the body has challenges, we have tremendous power, healing power. Do we really use it? Every Brahmin has healing power, right? And so it's important for me. Double light in relation with the body means using the tool of healing energy. Double light in relationships also, right? It's nice to not be influenced by any, all sanskars in myself and in others. And I've been very inspired these days to two practices, but one is to make sure that my vision of everyone is accurate. And every Brahmin or every soul in the world, we know has beautiful qualities, but beyond that, every soul is a point of light originally coming from Paramdam, right? So when I'm really able to remind myself that we are all brothers in that eternal form, we're all silent, we're all pure, we are all beautiful sparks of light, has been helping me a lot to detach in, maybe some karmic accounts, or actually, I don't feel these days so much challenge anymore in my relationships. I guess we have different phases, but practicing whenever I feel a little bit of tension or a little bit of maybe the current is not flowing as much as I would like to, I just try to detach again from the personality and Christelle or the other person and really get, if there is a karmic account, that karmic account can be settled in another place, in another dimension. And so picturing ourselves in Parandam and around Baba as tiny spark of light, that we all come from home and we will all return home. I find this practice very useful. But also if the karmic account is more severe and I feel like a little bit, more burdened, why not using the subtle region? And then picturing Brahma Baba, Bapdada standing there and showering, both of us. I usually sit the other person next to me and yeah, just feeling that shower of love and light helps me to integrate more the vision, the pure vision that Baba has on each of us. And I guess when we do that, we're able to deal, more in a very light way with our karmic accounts because we know it's the time to settle. And on one hand, we are reaching the extreme, and there will be more and more like intensity in the way we settle karmic accounts. But at the same time, we are becoming wiser and wiser. Don't you feel? That I feel like this is a period of time in our Brahmin life that everything is available. all the resources are available. It's just to us to focus, to choose where the focus should be in our efforts, so that whenever the focus is clear, attainments, treasures, experiences come in the form of gifts. And when they are gifts, then the heart is satisfied. And so there is this sense of lightness, attitude in the way we take things, and enjoying ourselves more in that double light stage. So these are the few tips, or maybe, personal practices that I wanted to share with you. I'm not sure at this point what I'm supposed to do. I see the clock's running. Is this time for maybe a meditation commentary, or is this time for questions? I leave it up to you, over to you, Maria.
Okay, thank you so much for your wonderful sharing. It was really very inspiring, and I think all of us um, had the experience of your double or triple or single or whatever light state.
Triple, I like that. Triple light,
Yeah.
let's go for it.
So it was really very inspiring, everything that you shared. And I mean, your vibration, I think, passed through Zoom to all of us. And it's really very nice. I don't see any questions here. The only question, uh, it may be, how do you use this not only knowledge, but these practices that you do in your logic life? You have to deal with people who have not any idea of these things, and they suffer, and you have to heal them. And of course, your vibration works on them, and they can feel something. But how do you deal with all this pain that the other people haven't? You protect yourself because you know how to protect yourself from their pain, but how do you help those people?
Yes, actually, working in two clinics means that it's definitely always problem-solving approach. I'm here really to solve some physical issues. It's just a matter of awareness, definitely, reminding myself that I, the soul, first, I'm acting through my body, helps me a lot. Usually one treatment would last 1 hour or 90 minutes. And I take it really as very, very precious time during the day. This is my time to remain most of the time silent. I don't like to speak to my client. If they speak, that's okay, but I would try to draw them into silence so that they can let go, let go, let go, and receive those vibrations. But yes, definitely, it's part of this practice at Amrit Vela, feeling that whenever we take the time to infuse the body with this energy of light from the soul and power, purity, I would say mainly, whatever we touch, whatever we do has a different quality. And as Brahmins, we should not deny that, we should really take the time to recognize it. Whatever Brahmin do usually is so special. There is this aloukicness. So I'm trying to remind myself that those hands are not just, any hands. They are God's hands. And handing it over to Baba, definitely. And I don't need to protect myself. My best protection, actually, during COVID, I had to go back to work fairly soon because we were asked by the government. We were, as massage therapists and other therapists, we were defined as basic needs, essential needs, essential services in the society, because people were so tense at home, they just needed to be treated. So I wasn't so happy to go back to work that soon. But I said to Baba, I don't want to get COVID for sure. I never did so far. And, I realized that my best protection is to keep my body of light, to keep that sense of lightness, emitting, feeling that I'm emitting vibrations. And the best way to feel vibrations is to choose either a title of self respect or virtue. It's been my cocktail since maybe a few months now, and that I wanted to go back to this basic practice that I took a bit for granted. We usually take many practices for granted, right? I mean, like, it's good to go back again and again. And going back to one title of self respect per day and one virtue has helped me a lot to choose clearly where do I focus my intention and what do I choose to emit, to vibrate. And also, during the treatment, I usually ask Baba, what does the soul need? What is really the need of the soul? And so I usually get an impression at some point, and virtue would come to mind, or something, an image would come to mind. And I would just try, to just practice. Baba tells us to have this practice of emitting, spreading good wishes, pure feelings all the time. So usually that's my practice for 1 hour, 90 minutes, feeling that giving mode, taking from Baba, giving, because I feel like it has to become natural. And so it is not natural, I guess, but more and more and more and more natural. And so that is the best protection. The more we emit, the more we vibrate something in the atmosphere, the less we get impacted. And yes, and also keeping the awareness that for me it's very clear now. I used to fear a bit the world of bodies. And I would encourage everyone, really every Brahmin, to build a very healthy relationship with their bodies. Like religion has led us to kind of demonize a bit the body. I don't know if it's the proper word in English, if that exists, but you know what I mean, right? Like body is bad and it's connected to vices, all of that. But no, the body is the beautiful gift that we have received from nature. We serve the elements, we serve the world, all of that. But actually, serving nature for me start with serving here. The nature starts here. If I see what really covers the soul first, even before the air, all of that around, the sun, this is it. This is this amazing cocktail of the five elements together. So that is being served whenever we spread vibrations. So, yeah, emitting energy.